I recently put out a video that was aimed at older beginners, or just beginners in general, but anyone who's having trouble changing chords quickly. And I showed you this thing, a way of playing where you can get to the higher notes later. It was mainly focused on the left hand, but it's a two-part equation. This is the second part of the hack to change chords quickly. And it has to do with your right hand. Because if you don't have finesse, if you don't have some semblance of control, and you're a strummer who's very frantic in your strumming, you can't do this. So you need to get to it at the same time. So if you're gonna be late coming to those high strings with your left hand, you need to be late with your right hand as well, which is something I preach. Your right and left need to be as one. They need to work together. When you're changing chords, you also, you need to know where to start your strum without having to look eventually. But you also, if you're gonna take a minute to make the full chord, maybe don't strum, just strum the things that you're fretting. In finger picking, you do this a lot. It's boom, boom, boom with the thumb, bass notes, and then the higher notes come in. It's that boom, tsh, boom, bass snare thing. There's no better example than finger picking. Brandon, I don't finger pick. I'm a beginner guitar player. I'm having trouble strumming. Yes, I know, but I'm gonna show you. I want you to look at this piece I'm about to play. It's an original piece of mine, and just watch how late I get to the high notes with the finger picking. See how that, my thumb is hitting the changes. So it's boom, tinka, boom, tinka. So if I were to strum that, see how late I'm getting to all this stuff? Getting to the change with the bass notes. The high notes accent, so I have time. That's a finger picking version of what I taught in the first part of this series, getting there later. You can take that example and apply it to your strumming. So I kind of want you to strum as if you're a finger picker, even if you don't know how to finger pick yet, okay? I'm gonna show you some cool things you can do with strumming without a pick that will actually get you one step closer to finger picking if that's something that you want to do. But even if not, treating your right hand, almost your strumming right hand, almost as if you're a finger picker, it's that mindset shift that really gets these two hands synced up together. Okay, in the first part of this lesson, I talked about how you can take a second, that extra second, even on the third strum, depending on the rhythm, to get those higher notes so you can find them. Just take a C major that's kind of a booger. Say you go from G to C, adding a pinky on that, you've got a little bit of time. Okay? But what was implied that wasn't actually stated, and that's what this video is for, your right hand needs to know what your left hand is doing as well. So if it's going to take you a minute to get to those higher notes, there's some chords where you just don't need to strum. You know, you need to have finesse and control with your right hand. You know, where you instinctively know, okay, it's going to take me a minute to get to that first string on that D. So I'm going to play a D sus2. Luckily, the D sus2 will sound great. I mean, that's what makes the sus2 part. But theoretically, you could still just play the bass notes till you get to that first string on the second fret there, and you're not playing a D sus2, you're just playing a D, you're just playing the top part of that D before you find it. So the key is to get left and right to work together, to know you're the same person. You have two hands, but you're the same, they're working for the same person. They need to work in unison. Just like your right needs to know where to go if you're gonna go from that D and you're strumming from the fourth down, and you're gonna go up to that G, which you strum from the sixth down, and then down to the C, fifth down. Just like you have to do that just to make the chords, right? The chord changes. They have to be in unison. The same thing happens with your strumming. One good way to kind of get used to this is to think like a finger picker. Now, granted, I know you don't know how to finger pick, right? But let me show you. And obviously there are different styles of finger picking, different things to do, but like in classical, and I took classical lessons for a hot minute. I mean, just enough to be dangerous. But your thumb is responsible for strings 6, 5, and 4. Your pinky can be used as a rest. So you're actually not even really using your pinky. So you kind of have designated strings for your fingers. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm not asking you to learn to finger pick, but I am asking you to kind of think of that. Your thumb is your top 3 strings. Okay, well that's your bass and mid when you're strumming chords. I want you to practice some of these chords that you know how to make, that you're having trouble changing quickly. Use that theory of just using your thumb and then flick down. Just flick down like a pick, almost like you're holding a pick, but just flick with your finger. You're kind of dividing that chord, that G chord, into 2 sections. Bass, the top and the bottom. That's going to do a few things that, even though you're not using a pick and you're using your thumb, it's still getting left and right to work together. You know when you're dropping strings. And then This really is a good illustration of how late you can get to those high notes. So just pluck the bass note with your thumb and then flick down. That's what you're doing when you're coming to these high strings later. You're doing that with a peg. Instead, the pick is your thumb and it's going to stay up here. So just try to rewire your brain instead of just thinking, oh, I gotta strum it all. I'm a robot. No, have a little finesse with it. And that practice right there is a good way to kind of illustrate that. Because when you finger pick, that's done a lot. I'm not even using that first string on that G yet. And even when I am, see how late I'm getting to it? That thumb is doing all the work. And then I'm occasionally hitting that. Think of that when you're strumming. It's the same thing. There's a D, okay? D sus 2. The high notes, these fingers are moving about half as much as my thumb. My thumb's always going. Boom. See, it's just keeping that bass. Dum, 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 and then I'm accenting. If you want to shave off years learning the fundamentals, go to MyPOVGuitar.com. Look at the beginner course. It will help you immensely. Until then, I'll see you in the next lesson.